So next up we have Jennifer Sheahan. So Jennifer describes herself as an eccentrotron. She has been there for 6 years, and she is currently leading client engagement for Dublin Tech Labs. She loves tinkering and taking apart electronic equipment. She recently completed a master's in HCI in ergonomics, and as part of her early career in Accenture, she worked on with the team that explored why girls do or don't study STEM subjects, which is very relevant to the talk that she'll be giving. So what she wants to do is equip parents with and children with the tools and excitement of playing with science in the home. So her talk is called "Won't Somebody Please Think of the Parents?" Welcome, Jennifer.
Hello. Roll it there, right? Yeah, so I'm Jen. I work at Accenture, but I'm a massive science nerd, as anybody in the audience who knows me will attest to. And so I was really lucky growing up. My parents were also massive science nerds, so I had a huge array of wiring and breadboards and everything in my house to play with. So the message out there is, if you don't teach your kids STEM, science, technology, engineering, maths, they're basically going to be homeless pretty shortly after finishing the Leaving Cert, right? And that's all well and good if you are mad for maths or you're crazy for chemistry, but if you are a normal parent, it's usually fairly likely that you're not going to have the resources or the time or the knowledge to be able to foster that environment of learning in the home. So I started with very simple electronics, and I wanted to find, there's loads of toys out there, there's loads of gadgets out there, but I wanted to find a way that was really engaging for parents and for kids to learn collaboratively. So I started with a very simple circuit board, and I needed to make it for kids, through research learned that I needed to make it really tangible, really hands-on, that they could pull it apart and show it around to each other and see what was there. And they also like flashing lights and colours and things like that. And for parents, what they really like is not to be patronised. So a lot of them are a little bit intimidated by this whole world of tech and all that. And so what I came up with was this big, giant circuit board, very safely housing all electronic components in these little wooden boxes, so you didn't electrocute your firstborn while trying to figure out how to do science. And so they very clearly displayed on the side what a circuit, what a component is, what it does in a circuit. There was lots of lights for feedback to show you when electricity was flowing, etc. But I got an awful lot of stuff wrong. No design process is right without showing you what a complete idiot you are and what stupid assumptions you've made along the way. So first of all, my assumption, and in my research, I asked, what do you need in order to be able to, do more science with your kids in your house? And I assumed that all parents were like Bill Nye the Science Guy here, and that they would, if we just had the right tools, that they would foster this amazingly experimental home. But really, it turns out that actually a lot of parents don't want to learn science at all. Actually, they're more interested in art, they're more interested in music, and one direct quote from my research was that they want to spend their Sundays yelling at their kid on the side of a GAA pitch, so fair enough if that's what you want to do. I also assumed, I don't know why, that kids are well behaved and they wear safety goggles because they want to, and that they safely play with chemicals and stuff. And of course, that's actually true for some of the older kids, but some of the younger kids are a destructive force of nature. And so they took my boxes and immediately tore them apart and tried to eat transistors and tried to put LEDs in their noses and everything like that. So I actually got to display my prototype of this giant circuit board at Dublin Maker Fair last year, if anyone was there. And it lasted like that in its lovely early morning state for about 45 minutes. And then the kids came along and they completely tore it to pieces, which was fun. So I wanted then to create something for those younger kids that was much more hands-on, much more tangible, and also realised that kids loved telling stories as they were learning. So they would show these things to each other and they would explain it through this narrative. And I also wanted to link it back to the real world more explicitly for parents who were interested in other things, not just science. So I came up with a book, a very interactive book. This is a terrifying clown that's actually made of conductive paint. And when you complete a circuit with him, his nose lights up and he plays music. And it's really, really cool. So what I did was I put the story, which kind of contained the instructions and some information for the parents over on the left. And then I had all the fun, tangible bits for the kids on the right, and a little bit more information about where they could, go and learn more when they wanted to. And I linked it back to the real world as much as I could. So, for example, this story taught how a very simple algorithm can be built in order to give directions and things like that. And it also played music and did all sorts of cool art stuff. And it actually worked really well. So the parents went straight for the story, and they used that to be able to prompt their children who were playing directly with the toys on the right, and were using those to explain to their parents and make sense of what they were learning. And it actually built on each other. Oh, I've just hit 10,000 steps somehow. Don't know how I did that. Thank you. But I also made a lot of mistakes with this one. I am an only child, so I had this beautiful utopian vision of parent and child learning in the home, but it's not how siblings work, is it, at all? And so a lot of competitive, enthusiastic competition resulted in lots of more of my prototyping torn apart. So parents like information, kids like tangible toys. Testing with children is really hard. Thank you very much.